Introduce Art, who graciously drove over here from Oakland, and I'll let you know when it's about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
Here's Art.
Hi, I'm Art, grateful recovery addict.
Art.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody here that's here tonight. Thank you for showing up for your recovery tonight. And yeah, it was an honor for asking me to come out because you know, the 12 step, we can't keep what we have without giving it away. And there's no newcomers in here, unfortunately, because my share is really good for newcomers. But yeah, I'm grateful that I'm here and that you guys are here. And that's really important to acknowledge because when I came into NA, I was like the dude that was like, I don't have that problem. I didn't do that. And, you know, the stuff I did was pretty bad, right? But I was comparing all the differences. And so I'm grateful I can look at the similarities today and find a message of hope in anybody's share, no matter who it is, what age, creed, sexual identity, religion or lack of religion, right? Like everyone has something to say today to me, and someone has something I can learn from if I keep that open-mindedness, right? And that's a practice for me that's been so life-changing for this recovery process. Because when I came in here arrogant and, you know, I know everything, Mr. Know-It-All, you know, and I can still struggle with that sometimes because I'm super smart, but I don't apply myself, right? And so a lot of shit didn't get done that I wanted to get done. So I share that all just to give you like a brief introduction of how I got here. And I came in here pointing the finger and I didn't have a problem. I came on the court card, right? I think a lot of people come in on that, and it didn't really help me. I came in here and I was like, oh, I'll just get twice as many meetings done and I'll be cured. And I did twice as many meetings as they wanted me to, and then they let me go. And then I came back 6 months, 9 months later, I got arrested again for possession under the influence. Just minor stuff. I was pretty good. Like I would just hide in a van and masturbate and watch porn. So I wasn't really hurting much people except myself. But that's what I would do. I just isolated my van. And beating myself up, you know, hurting myself, and putting cigarette butts out on myself, and burning myself with the pipe, and stabbing myself with the needle, and all the stuff we do when we get sick, you know. It didn't start out that way, but within like 6 months, I was pretty sick. So I can just give you a brief history. I came from an alcoholic childhood, so I'm a parent of a child of an alcoholic, and if anyone knows what that's like. It was just very challenging. Seen a lot of things I didn't need to see as a kid. My mom getting beat up, my dad beating me up, you know, dad not being there a lot, my mom mentally ill, not there for me, and became the class clown in school. So I was always acting out, looking for attention, looking for love in all the wrong places, was my motto. And I didn't know what I was doing back then. I just thought it was funny. Thought it was funny to make people laugh. It felt good to make people laugh because the history teacher was super boring, right? And like the teachers were just blah 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 to me. Like it was just like boring to me. So I kind of make school a joke, and I could get good grades and pass my tests. I was always really good. Just boom boom boom, get an A, boom, and like doing my homework in class so I didn't have to do it at home. Stupid stuff like that, and. Basically, yeah, I got kicked out of every school I've been to. I've been expelled from almost every single school I've been to. So you know how that goes. Continuations, what comes with continuations, drugs, right? And so I started smoking weed and drinking around 12, lost my virginity at 12, before I wasn't even a teenager. I started sneaking out and stealing my dad's stash because he had marijuana in a little can. I figured out when my friend was like, you know what weed is? Like, I was like, ding, ding, ding. Oh, yeah, I know where to get it, too. And then I was off and running, you know, and started stealing bottles from the alcohol from the store. And, you know, the reason why they have those tags and cameras in Safeway in Castro Valley is because we stole so much alcohol. I mean, we stole a lot of alcohol. Every day we'd take turns going in there so they wouldn't identify us. And eventually we started getting busted and getting in trouble. And so, yeah, that was me just getting in trouble all the time. And then my dad would beat me up. And, you know, and that was love to me because it was attention. Any way to get attention, you know. And so some of that abuse was like self-inflicted in a way. But I'm not justifying it. It's just I see my pattern, and man, if I was my kid, I would have beat his ass too. You know what I mean? Like if I knew what my dad was and what he was doing, and like what my kid was doing, I probably would have done the same thing if I was him. So I do have compassion for my parents, and I do have an understanding today because I've learned through the 12 steps I don't need to resent anybody anymore. It's over. It's time to grow up, and through these 12 steps, I get a chance to do that. So I went to, at 16, I got arrested, and I tried to hang myself in juvenile hall. They kicked me out. They put me in mental health. So I became mental health at like 16. I had some other suicidal history when I was 12 too, and 13. Tried to cut my arm open, and so I have a mental health history of bipolar and PTSD and depression. So I still struggle with these things today, but it's gotten a lot better because of I come to meetings and talk about what's going on with me, and I became more of the court. They shipped me off to Utah for 9 months, and then I turned 18. They shipped me back, and I had them held back unit so I could get emancipated when I came back to California because I had nowhere to go, and I didn't want to be on the streets. So I got emancipated, started working at Starbucks, and I stayed off drugs and alcohol for about a year and a half after I got out, and then I started smoking again, and then continued to use psychedelics, at parties and stuff like that, and alcohol and marijuana was like my drug for a long time, and then my brother died about 10 years now, about 10 years ago, and I tried amphetamines way back ago, and I liked them, but I got addicted to it for a minute, but then I said, I'll never do that again. And people kept giving them to me in Clear Lake, and I got addicted. And I was like, oh, you can shoot this shit up. And then I was done once I started doing that. And I was off and on drugs on heavy drugs for 3 years. And I was in a van living down by the river. I was that guy. I'm a hot springs guy, and I like to be out in nature. And I like to be like where not a lot of people are. I still travel and stuff. And I was just isolated with that, and it was really a dark place. I wanted to die, but I couldn't kill myself because I seen what my brothers. They found him hung in Marin County Jail, and I was just devastated. I don't know. For like 9 months, I slept. Me and my mom just slept, and then I came out of that, and then I started using, and it got really dark, and I started getting arrested here and there, and went in the mental hospital like at least 5 or 6 times, in and out of mental hospitals, and it was really dark. I had nowhere to go. All the couch surfing and all the places I had to stay, all my friends didn't want me around anymore because of what I was doing, and it was really sad. I was really sad, and I didn't know how to live. I just didn't know how to live. I was smart, and I didn't know how to ask for help either. I always want to talk about that because, arrogance and pride blocked me from asking, and I didn't know this really existed. I heard of AA from my dad, but I never really got it. It was like a bunch of old people complaining, I thought. That's what I thought it was. And I just didn't have an open mind when I went as a teenager. And I went as a young adult, too, when I was in a group home. And, I wish I would have listened a little better and I had a little more open-mindedness back then, because maybe then this wouldn't have happened. But I'm grateful. I don't have any regrets today because that my brother's death, like, pushed me so dark that I had no other, either I was going to die or I was going to live. And I had no other choice. So, I ended up overdosing. I woke up in the hospital 5 days later, fentanyl-laced stuff, I'm pretty sure. My liver was shut down. My kidneys were shut down. And I had to come back 2 days later to check to see if I needed to be on dialysis. It was so bad. And they hit me with Narcan five times. I didn't pop up. So I should be dead. I really should. They found me on a hotel room. They always find me naked, right? No clothes on, maybe a G-string, some weird shit, right? Because I like to dress up and pretend like I'm a girl when I'm high because I'm fucking crazy, And I embrace my feminine side too. I still like dressing up. But it's not because I want to get high. It's just because I like who I am today. It's a different disposition. And but how embarrassing. So many times they've woke me up in a hotel. Hey, you got to go. Hey, do you know you have no clothes on? I'm like, oh, shit. Because, I'd come down and take a bunch of pills to come down. And, you just pass out. And you wake up like, you're supposed to check out. And I'm sleeping, man, Self-centered, right? Don't care about what anyone thinks, or does, or says about me. And, they say, you have a problem. And I'm like, fuck you, you have a problem. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, come on. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Come on. You want to shoot me? I was calling people the N-word in Oakland trying to get people to shoot me. Bunch of pussies, because I really wanted to die, but I couldn't do it. But no one would kill me, right? I couldn't even get no one to kill me. And one time I remember trying to get arrested. No one would arrest me. And I just needed somewhere to sleep because it kept waking me up everywhere I was going, and they wouldn't let me sleep. So I was going crazier, right? And this is the nightmare of the disease. And I always told myself, oh, I never do that again. I'll never fucking use again. And I might go a week, 3 days, maybe a month, you know. But I always ended up back to that place of desperation. And I couldn't understand why I was doing it. I didn't know I had a disease. I didn't know, well, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I knew my dad was an alcoholic, but I was like, I'm not like him. I never will be like him, right? And I'm so like my dad. If you meet my dad, we're a lot alike, okay? So there's just a bunch of denial, right? And we're a lot different, too. We're a lot different. I have a lot of different character assets and defects that are different than my dad, but we do have a lot of similarities. So, and I'm okay to admit that today because I love my dad and I love my mom. And it's hard, man. It's hard to admit these things today, but it helps me. It helps me see where I came from and how I got here and where I'm going. And so I've stuck around. I came in, and so after that overdose, I'll go back to that. I woke up and I was like, "Yay, I'm alive!" Like a little kid at that table. "Yay, I'm alive! I have a new life!" Like something clicked in me in that darkness when I was asleep for 5 days. When I woke up and they hand me those papers that I usually just throw in the trash, you know, to get help. I went through them. You know, I slept for a few days more. I needed more time to get it together. But within a week, I was in a rehab, and I went to outpatient. It actually worked for me. I was sleeping in my van in the fucking rehab, like in the parking lot, because I didn't want to be around those people anymore. I was done, and it was hard. The first year was really difficult. I remember it was difficult. So what I did is I got into housing, and I got on a housing program, and they helped me get my life together. I kept going to meetings every day, and I didn't get NA yet. I still was dabbling in NA in the beginning. I was going to a few meetings here and there, and I was just going to rehab. That was working for me. But I graduated that in a year, and then I really needed to do something else. And my sponsor, Jimmy, he works at the Second Chance where I was going, and someone recommended him be my sponsor. And so I asked him, and I was like, yeah, this is a good fit. He almost looks just like my dad. Long hair and musician, plays guitar. Like, there's a lot of similarities. So he's like the dad I never had, right? And so higher power has a funny way of aligning these people in our lives that can help me see that self-centered, aspect of the denial and the darkness, that shadow that's always behind us, but we can't see. You know, we have to keep being vigilant and like taking a look back to see where we're going too, because that shadow is with me always, and I have to be careful to remember to practice these spiritual principles in all my affairs, not just when I walk, not just when I'm talking right now or when I'm listening to you guys, but when I walk out the door and when I get in my car and I want to speed or I want to cut someone off or whatever it is, you know, the stupid little things that the disease acts up, you know, spend thousands of dollars on Amazon. I can do that real quick. But I've learned through the 12 steps that I'm able to turn it over and let God take that obsession, right? And the Just for Today talked about the self-centered obsession, right? And how that obsession is alleviated through the 12 steps, right? Through a higher power and coming and talking about what I don't want to talk about, right? And when I talk about these things, it sets me free and it gets me to see, oh, it's been 6 years, right? And I'm still struggling with that. Like, when am I going to really turn it over and let it go, right? And I found like turning over is not something you just do. Just right now. You do it in 10 minutes from now. You do it in an hour. You do it in 2 more hours. And you do it in the other hour. And you do it every day. It's not something you just do and then it's over. And the same thing with this program. It's not something you do. You just work these 12 steps and it's over. No, I'm back on step 5 again, right? And I just get to keep applying these principles and these steps in my life. Because now I'm working around relationships, right? Because I've been dating. And it's like, oh, wow, you get to really see your character defects when you date. And you get to see their defects. And you get to see your assets. And you get to see all these things that you never really got to see before because you didn't look at it. At least I didn't. I didn't look at what I was doing in my relationships. I would just bail. I'm an abandoner, right? Because I was abandoned by my mom when I was a child. And that's why my dad got custody. So I instead of allowing myself to get abandoned, I'm going to abandon you first, bitch. Right? Yeah, fuck you, bitch. I know what I'm doing. right? And I thought that was okay. I thought I was honest and I wasn't hurting anybody. But I've hurt a lot of people. I'm a heartbreaker, right? I've broken a lot of hearts. And I still breaking hearts today. I'm just being honest. And it's something that I'm working on because it's not okay. It's not okay to do that to people. It's self-centered and selfish, and just because I want sex, and this is a men's meeting, so I can talk about it. You know, I would talk about it in women's meetings too. I don't give a fuck. But the self-centered of my disease, I just want your ass and give it to me, and I don't want any problems. I don't want commitment either. I just want to fuck you and and have fun and snuggle and in that part. But I don't want to do the relationship part and the talking and the getting to know you and like picking up your kid from school. And I don't want to do all that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like I don't want to do that. And but I found that I do want to get intimate with someone, but I'm choosing these females that are not there for me emotionally, right? And why? Because my mom wasn't emotionally available. My dad wasn't emotionally available. And so it's called trauma bonding. And so I'm picking my mom and different females, right? Because it's attractive to me because it's what I know. But what I'm learning is it's not what I want. Just because it's comfortable, and it's actually becoming more uncomfortable the more I work through these steps and start to feel what love is and what compassion is and empathy and like understanding and sitting with their feelings and actually feeling sorry. Like the last time I actually felt sorry I cheated on this girl recently. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, I never feel good. Well, I was open, but it wasn't technically cheating, but I made an agreement that I would call her before I acted on it. And I just acted on it and didn't call her. So now we're broken up, and I feel sad, and I really like this girl, and now I'm suffering the consequences, right? And back into the step work and talking about it with my sponsor, and it all stems from this need to be loved, but looking it in the wrong places still, just like I was when I was a kid. So I have over 6 years clean, and June 18th is my clean date, 2017. And so if you struggle with these things and you have some time, you're not alone, just to let you know. It's the disease is real, and it still manifests in my life, especially around relationships. I'm great with friends. I'm much better. Once I have sex with someone, it gets all weird. So that's something I need to work on there. That's really my biggest struggle today, shopping sometimes. I tend to like want to buy shit because I have money today. And I never had money like I did today. Like I never had $90,000 in a bank just sitting there. I never had that. I never even had $1,000 sitting in a bank. I had a stack of cash, because I used to be a grower. I'd have a stack of cash, but you couldn't really like save it. You couldn't really like do because it was illegal, So you couldn't really like build interest with it. So it was a different kind of disposition of money that I have. And I'm grateful that I'm able to like save today and like because I want to buy a house and buy a property. And I want to build a healing center. 5 minutes, perfect. And that's my goal. So I'm doing everything to work towards that. Other thing I struggle with today is just, self-acceptance is key. I set myself most of the time, but there's that 10-20% where I sabotage and I go down the obsession path. So like the reading talked about today, I can obsess on compulse on mostly in my thinking. It all stems in my thinking and how I'm like perceiving things. Because sometimes I think I'm just a loser. I'm going to be alone, and don't you know I should just kill myself. And I don't really believe these things, but I hear it. I still hear it in my head. So there's still this narrative, and I'm like, thank you, disease, and I talk to it, and it's like, okay, what's really going on, disease? What do you need? What do you just need some more love, right? I need to go to a meeting. I need to call my sponsor. I need to pick up the pen. I'm doing a daily writing today. It's going to be spiritual recovery. It's going to be a just for today daily reader. So I'm writing it every day on the day. I'm a month and a half through it. So I'm trying to stick with it. I've already been over 30 days, so that's a good start. And I'm messaging some people in recovery, and they seem to really like it. So they're helping me motivate to stay on this path. And I want it released by June 1st next year for the new year. And that'll be a way of being a service to my community, right? Through my writing and creative arts, because I'm an artist too in many ways. And I'm grateful to be able to have a voice today and like to actually publish myself. I have a blog now too, and I put it on the website every day. And I'm getting some traffic and some responses and stuff. It feels really good to have something to say today that has some meaning, and it's based off the spiritual principles of this program. And I try to keep it real simple, because I love to use flowery, smart language, but I'm not doing that with this. I want to keep, doing it about the heart and about love and compassion and what I've learned about that through coming here. So that's been like a huge beacon of hope for me this past couple months, especially during this time of year when my brother's not here, my grandparents are gone now, and they were like the few people that really I looked up to, because they really have they had like a solid foundation. And so I miss them around the holidays, and there's not a lot of places I can go. So what I do is I come to these. I'll probably be at that the Narathon thing. If not that one, I'll be at one of them or two of them. I try to go to one or two and just kind of pop in and like be a part of the potluck and eat and hug people, and because I found I need a lot of hugs. Like I can go on Zoom and stuff and get meetings, but for me I got to get hugs. For me, it helps me like feel a part of, because that's the love that was given so freely when I got here. And I'm grateful for all you guys that are here tonight. If you struggle with anything, don't remember just to reach out, and ask for help. Like humility is so important for someone, especially like me, that can do it all and figure it out. Yeah, I can figure it out, but it's the hard way. It's the hard way to do things. It's so much easier to ask someone to get a ride when you don't even need a ride, because then now you get to talk in the car with somebody, right? Like I ask for rides all the time, and I have 2 cars, or I had 2 cars. But just a fellowship, and like to practice asking, because I need to practice asking. Like, and when my ass is on fire and I really need to ask, then it's that much easier to ask, right? Because I've been practicing it. So practice, and remember to keep picking up that pen, no matter how fucking sunshine and roses it seems. Like keep picking up that pen, because it'll get dark, man. Someone's gonna die, or you're gonna crash into something, and someone will crash into you. You're gonna get fired, or you're gonna lose your job, or someone drains your bank account. You never know. Your house might burn down. I mean, shit happens, right? A lot of shit happens. Like the longer we stay clean, a lot of shit's gonna happen to us. And I caught HIV, and while I was clean, I stayed clean, right? I'm healthy. I kept coming to meetings and talking about it. I lost my grandparents, stay clean. I almost lost my dad. I 12-stepped him, and now he's 2 years sober. He's in AA. Yeah, he's 2 years sober because he'd probably be dead if I didn't come by there and help him out. So, like, this fellowship works, man, and, like, I've learned to, like, be there even when I don't want to. I drove all the way up to Clear Lake where I don't like to go, and, hey, Dad, what's going on? And he was all paranoid, and I was like, would you like to go to rehab again? And let's go, And he finally came to that conclusion. So I'm grateful to be able to help today and have some sponsees. And like we just finished the 12 steps recently with one of my sponsees, and usually I just get 1, 2, 3, 4, and they drop off, And so finally I got someone through the 12 steps. What a great feeling that is to like help someone and hear like how much they've grown. Like they're a different person when they call me today when they first called me. Some similarities. We're always who we are, but like he has some spiritual principles under his belt, and he stayed clean, and we talk all the time, and it's just good to have like men in my life that that support me and give me hope, because like I can't keep this thing without being a service. And talking about service, I've done every commitment except GSR. I've done almost every commitment. I've done H&I, which is really, if you've never done H&I really recommend it. It's really nice getting a meeting to people that can't get to a meeting. Very heartfelt and rewarding. And just, picking up the phone or just coming to the meeting is a service too. If you're scared of service, just dive in, man. We're here to help you. Like, there's always someone that, I was afraid to be a secretary at first, and getting speakers and all that stuff, but it broadened my base, and it forced me to get to know people I didn't want to get to know. Mm-hmm. And that helped me with that self-centered aspect and broadened this thing that we have, this freedom. Because this freedom, you can't buy this freedom. You can't transmit it either, but you can be a beacon of hope to others by coming up and smiling and having some gratitude, So remember, I'm grateful for you guys today, and thanks for showing up, and thanks for allowing me to share.